The morning sunlight spilled into our tiny apartment, warm and golden, but somehow it couldn't touch the heaviness I felt in my chest. I sat at the kitchen table, stirring my coffee absent-mindedly, while Lily, my 7-year-old daughter, fussed over a small, tattered dress. Her tiny fingers traced the fraying edges, her brow furrowed. "A dress for poor people," she said, voice sharp and unforgiving. I froze mid-sip. The words hit harder than I expected. Was she mocking me? Was she mocking herself? "It's just a dress, Lily," I said gently, trying to calm the sudden storm of anger in her tone. But she wasn't listening. She stormed away to her room, her little feet making soft thumps against the wooden floor. I sighed, feeling a cold wave of guilt. I had worked so hard to give her a life better than mine, to save every penny so that she could attend the fancy school, wear decent clothes, and never feel ashamed. And yet, here she was, rejecting even a simple dress. The day passed slowly, the anticipation of the party gnawing at me. I had bought a gown for myself the week before, a silk number, shimmering with sequins that caught the light like stars. I thought that tonight, Lily would be proud. That tonight, she would see me as someone who had fought for her happiness, even if we weren't wealthy. But as I prepared for the party, dressing Lily in a sparkling little frock I had managed to squeeze out of our budget, I could feel her hesitation. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Her lips pressed into a thin line, her tiny hands fidgeting. "Lily," I said softly, brushing a stray curl from her forehead. "You look beautiful tonight. Everyone will love you." She only shook her head. "I don't want to go, Mommy." I swallowed hard. "We have to. You'll make friends. You'll have fun." Her eyes, wide and mistrustful, met mine. There was something in them that made my stomach twist. Fear? Suspicion? Or a secret she wasn't telling me? We arrived at the gala just as the sun was setting, bathing the city in a soft pink glow. The venue was enormous, chandeliers glittering above, crystal glasses clinking, laughter echoing like music. People in elegant gowns and tailored suits mingled, sipping champagne, exchanging polite smiles. I held Lily's hand tightly, guiding her through the crowd. I wanted her to feel proud, to shine, to forget the small apartment we came from, the struggles, the late nights, the endless worry. I wanted her to see that we belonged here, even if only for one evening. But then I noticed the glances. Whispered comments, fleeting smirks. A mother adjusting her daughter's dress, eyes scanning us critically. A man raising his glass and whispering to his companion, his gaze lingering on our modest appearance. I squeezed Lily's hand, trying to shield her from the scrutiny, from the judgment. And then, it happened. Her little body stiffened. Her eyes widened. Her grip on my hand loosened. And then she collapsed. The crowd gasped. Time slowed. I caught her in my arms just in time, feeling the weight of her small, fragile body against mine. Panic surged through me, a cold wave that made my knees buckle. "Lily! Lily!" I cried, my voice trembling. I could hear murmurs around us, but they were distant, muffled. My world narrowed to the warmth of her skin, the faint pulse I could feel under my fingers. Her lips parted, and she whispered, almost inaudibly, "Mommy, why?" I shook her gently. "Why what, baby? What happened?" Her eyes were wide, shining with tears that hadn't yet fallen. There was a look in them that I couldn't understand, a mixture of fear, shock, and something deeper, something I hadn't seen before. I glanced up, scanning the crowd for help, for anyone who could tell me what to do. The room was a blur of shocked faces, but no one moved fast enough. The lights above me seemed too bright, the music too loud, and then silence. A silence that felt suffocating. Slowly, Lily's eyelids fluttered. She was breathing, though unevenly. Relief washed over me, but it was fleeting. There was still something wrong. Something had changed in her. I carried her to a nearby sofa, lowering her gently. Her little hands clutched at my sleeve. "Mommy, she. She who?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "The lady, with the dress, she knows everything," Lily stammered, her voice trembling. My heart skipped. "Knows what, baby?" But she didn't answer. She shook her head and buried her face in my shoulder. I sat there for what felt like hours, holding her, listening to the distant murmur of the party continuing around us, oblivious to our small crisis. My mind raced. What did she mean? Who knows? What had we done wrong? When Lily finally calmed, I promised myself I would find out. I would uncover every secret, every hidden truth. I had raised her to be brave, to be clever, to survive. And now, it seemed, the world had found a way to strike first, through her innocent eyes. The gala continued, oblivious to the chaos in our corner of the room. Laughter, music, clinking glasses, all sounds of a life I was only beginning to glimpse. A life I feared might not be for us after all. And as the night stretched on, a shiver ran down my spine. I realized this evening wasn't about gowns or glitter or the appearance of perfection. It was about truth. And whatever truths were waiting to be uncovered, they were closer than I could ever imagine. The gala went on around us, oblivious to the storm that had quietly erupted in our corner. The glittering chandeliers cast soft golden light, reflecting off crystal glasses and sateen gowns, but it all felt unreal, distant, like watching someone else's life through a fogged window. I sat on the sofa, Lily clinging to me like a frightened little bird. Her small fingers dug into my sleeve, and I felt her shivering, though the hall was warm. I don't like this place, Mommy," she whispered. They're not like us. They judge." Her words pierced me, sharper than any dagger. Judge. Yes, they do. But what did she see? Did she notice what I couldn't? Before I could answer, a soft, cold voice called from across the room. "Ah, there you are." I turned. A woman in an elegant emerald gown approached, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. Her hair was perfect, her makeup flawless. But it was her eyes that made me freeze, hard, knowing, and piercing straight into me. "Hello, Mrs. Jameson?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She smiled, a polite, almost rehearsed smile. "Yes. I don't believe we've met properly. I've heard so much about you." Something in the tone made my stomach twist. "Too much about me? Too much?" I'm honored," I said softly, unsure what she meant. She leaned slightly closer. Her perfume was heavy, floral, almost suffocating. "Your daughter, Lily," she said, glancing at the small figure clinging to me, "she has remarkable eyes. So observant, so aware." I frowned. Aware of what? Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, don't worry, dear. Children see things adults sometimes wish they wouldn't." Lily stiffened in my arms. Her little hands tightened around mine, and I realized she had overheard something. Or maybe she had understood something. I forced a laugh. "Yes, children do notice things." She nodded once, slowly, deliberately, and turned on her heel, gliding away through the crowd like a shadow. I watched her disappear, feeling a chill run through me. That glance, that presence, it carried weight, a hidden warning I couldn't yet decipher. Lily's small voice pulled me back. Mommy, she knows about the dress. My heart skipped. The dress. The dress, and the money, and her voice trailed off, her eyes wide with terror. I held her tighter, trying to calm my racing thoughts. What could she possibly know? The dress? The gala? Our modest beginnings? Or something more? The party continued around us, laughter and music and the clinking of glasses, but I felt like we were suspended in a bubble, isolated, exposed. I could feel eyes on us, curious, judging, whispering, but I couldn't tell if it was real or imagined. Then it happened. A sudden crash. A tray of champagne glasses toppled from a passing waiter, shattering on the marble floor. The room's attention snapped toward the sound, and in that moment, I noticed her, the woman in the emerald gown, returning. She held a small envelope delicately in her hand, her expression unreadable. She walked directly toward me, her heels silent now, almost predatory. Lily pressed herself against me, fear radiating from her tiny body. "This is for you," the woman said, handing me the envelope. I hesitated, taking it carefully. The paper was thick, creamy, and unmarked. I looked up at her. What is this?" "Open it when you're alone," she said, her voice calm, controlled. "It's important. Some truths are better discovered in private." And with that, she disappeared again into the crowd, leaving me holding the envelope like a ticking bomb. Lily whispered, trembling. "Mommy, what did she mean?" I didn't have an answer. Not yet. I felt a wave of dread. Whatever was in that envelope, it was going to change everything. We managed to leave the gala early, making our way through the grand lobby into the crisp night air. The city lights twinkled around us, but I could hardly see them. My mind was consumed by the envelope, the woman, and Lily's frightened eyes. Once we were home, I locked the door behind us and sat at the small kitchen table. The envelope waited, silent and heavy. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were photographs, dozens of them, each one more shocking than the last. A young woman in a simple dress, standing in our apartment's tiny kitchen, holding Lily in her arms. But it wasn't me. It was another woman. And she wasn't smiling. And then, a series of letters. Handwritten notes, carefully folded. They spoke of lies, of secrets hidden for years, of a family history I had never known. And at the bottom of the last note, a single sentence that made my blood run cold. "She is not who you think she is." Lily looked up at me, eyes wide. "Mommy, what does it mean?" I swallowed hard. I don't know yet, baby. But we're going to find out. I promise. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. And in that moment, I realized the party had been only the beginning. The real story, the truth that had been waiting in the shadows, was only starting to unfold. Somewhere out there, the woman in the emerald dress was watching. Waiting. And I had no idea what she was planning. The envelope lay open on the kitchen table, its contents spilling truth I had never imagined. Photographs, letters, and a single sentence that burned into my mind: "She is not who you think she is." I stared at Lily, who had curled into herself on the chair, small and trembling. Her eyes, wide and innocent, were filled with questions I didn't have answers to. "Mommy, why is she holding me?" Lily whispered, pointing at the photographs. I swallowed hard. I don't know, Baby. I don't know yet. But deep down, I felt the chill of truth beginning to seep in. Something, or someone, had been hiding in our lives, shaping our world from the shadows. And now, the shadows were stepping into the light. The next morning, I tried to go about our usual routine. Breakfast, brushing teeth, school drop-off. But every glance at Lily reminded me of the envelope. Every shadow in our apartment seemed too dark, every whisper in the hallway too loud. Finally, I couldn't stand it. I pulled out the letters again, reading each one carefully, looking for clues. The handwriting was elegant, deliberate, but the words were harsh. They spoke of adoption, of mistaken identity, of a family feud that had been buried for decades. And then I saw a name. One I knew, vaguely, only from distant mentions, a woman my mother had spoken about years ago, Vanessa Caldwell. The letters claimed Vanessa had been the biological mother of a child taken from her at birth. A child who had grown up in my life, perhaps even Lily. I froze. Could it be? Was Lily not my daughter? The thought was unbearable. My chest tightened, my mind screamed for denial. But the photographs, the letters, the woman at the party, it all pointed to a truth I could no longer ignore. Lily sensed my fear. Mommy, tell me. Tell me the truth. I shook my head, tears threatening. I need to find out first, baby. I promise I will. We'll know soon. That evening, I confronted my mother. Her hands shook as she stirred tea, and I realized she had been keeping her own terror in check. Mom. I found something, I said, placing the letters before her. Tell me, is this true? Is Lily? Her lips trembled. I wanted to tell you when the time was right. But yes, there's a truth you must face. I gripped the table, desperate. What truth, Mom? Please, tell me everything. She sighed, a heavy, heart-breaking sound. Years ago, I made a decision I thought was for the best. Vanessa Caldwell, she couldn't raise her child. Circumstances. I won't go into now, but that child came to us. You raised her as your own, but she isn't your biological daughter. I sat frozen. The room spun. Lily, my Lily, the little girl I had loved, feared losing, protected, cherished, was not my daughter. Lily looked at me, confused and scared. Mommy, is it true? I held her tightly, my heart breaking in a way I couldn't describe. I don't know what she says yet, baby. But I promise. I love you. That will never change. No matter what. The next days became a blur of research, phone calls, and whispered conversations. I tried to find Vanessa Caldwell to understand what had really happened. The deeper I dug, the darker the story became. Vanessa wasn't just a woman who had lost a child. She was wealthy, powerful, and ruthless. The letters hinted at revenge, at schemes designed to manipulate, to reclaim what she believed was hers. And then I realized, the woman in the emerald dress, the one at the party, was her. She had been watching us, testing us, seeing if we were worthy, if we would crumble. Fear gripped me. What did she want? Was she planning to take Lily from me? Or something worse? I couldn't tell anyone. Not my mother, not my friends. This was ours to handle. And as I looked at Lily sleeping peacefully that night, I realized that the stakes were higher than I could have imagined. Somewhere, Vanessa Caldwell was planning. And we were in the center of it all. I didn't know if we could survive what was coming. The next morning began like any other, but I could feel the weight of Vanessa Caldwell in every shadow. Every sound outside, every flicker of the curtains, made my heart pound. She was out there, watching, waiting. And now I knew she wouldn't hesitate to act. Lily clung to me as I prepared breakfast. Her small hands trembled slightly, and I realized she had sensed more than I had been able to admit. "Mommy, will she take me away?" she asked softly, eyes wide. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "No, baby. I'll protect you. Always. I promise." But promises felt fragile against the storm gathering outside. Later that day, I received a message. No words, just a photo. Lily, smiling in a park we had visited once, and in the corner of the image, barely visible, a woman in a long green coat, watching from the shadows. I dropped my phone, my chest tightening. Vanessa was sending a message, "I'm here. I see everything." I knew then that hiding was no longer an option. I had to confront her. I had to find out what she truly wanted. That night, the doorbell rang. My heart leapt into my throat. I didn't answer at first, but the persistent ringing echoed in my small apartment like a drumbeat of doom. Finally, I opened the door. And there she was. Vanessa Caldwell, taller than I remembered from the photos, her eyes sharp, calculating, and cold. "Hello," she said, her voice smooth, almost pleasant, but it sent chills down my spine. "I've been hoping we could meet." I stepped back, shielding Lily behind me. What do you want?" She smiled faintly. "I want what's mine. But I also want to give you a choice. You've raised her, well, in your own way. But it's time for the truth to be fully known." Lily gasped. "Mommy, she wants me." I pulled her close. "Shh, it's okay, baby. I'm here." Vanessa tilted her head. "You see, I've been patient. I watched. I tested. And now, I think it's time for honesty. You see, she's not just my daughter. She is the key to everything I've been planning." My stomach dropped. "Planning? What are you talking about?" "I was betrayed once," Vanessa said, her eyes darkening. "By my family, by people I trusted. And I lost everything I cared about. But now, she gives me a chance to reclaim it all. To take back what is rightfully mine." "Vanessa, this isn't fair." "Lily, she's just a child," I said, my voice shaking. "Oh, I know," Vanessa said, stepping closer. "And that's why I've been careful. I needed to see if you were worthy. If you could love her truly, if you could protect her. If not, well, then she would come to me." I felt my knees weaken. The woman before me wasn't just a stranger, she was a force, a storm ready to sweep away everything I held dear. Then, Lily did something I hadn't expected. She stepped forward. "Mommy, I want to stay with you. I love you." Vanessa's eyes flicked to Lily, and for a moment, her expression softened. Then she shook her head slowly. "It's not about love, little one. It's about destiny." I stepped in front of Lily, arms wide. "I don't care about your destiny. She's my daughter. My family. And I will fight for her. You cannot take her from me." Vanessa smiled, cold and calculating. "We'll see about that." She turned, her long coat sweeping behind her, and disappeared into the night like a phantom. But she left a single warning: the next time we meet, the choice will be yours or hers. That night, I held Lily close, tears streaming down my face. My mind raced with plans, with fear, with the knowledge that the calm we had known was over. The next days were filled with whispers, with shadows that seemed too long, with eyes watching from corners. I realized Vanessa wasn't just a threat, she was an obsession. And if I wanted to protect Lily, I had to be smarter, faster, and braver than I had ever been. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Vanessa's face, her green coat, her calculated smile. And I knew the final confrontation was coming. I had no idea what it would cost me, but I knew I couldn't back down. Because this wasn't just about a child. This was about family, trust, and survival. And I was ready to fight for every heartbeat of it. The night was thick with tension, the air heavy like it carried secrets from another world. I had prepared. Every step, every corner of the apartment, every exit. I had planned. Vanessa Caldwell wasn't going to take Lily without a fight, not while I was still breathing. I could hear the soft click of her heels before I saw her. She entered as if she belonged here, her green coat gliding over the floor like liquid shadow. Her eyes scanned the room, sharp and cold, until they landed on Lily, who was hiding behind me. "You're ready," she said, her voice calm, almost amused. "I can see it." The mother ready to fight. The protector. I respect that. But do you truly know what you're protecting? I straightened, my hands trembling but firm. I don't care who you are, what you claim. Lily is my daughter. My family. And no one will take her from me. Vanessa smiled faintly. "Ah, but you don't understand. She is mine by blood. And there are things you cannot fight with love alone." Lily's voice broke through, small but defiant. "Mommy doesn't care about blood. She's my mommy. She loves me. That's enough." Vanessa's smile faltered for a fraction of a second. But then she masked it again, stepping closer. "Sweet child, love is fragile. Power is eternal. You cannot change the rules of the world." I gritted my teeth. "Maybe. But I can protect her. And sometimes, that's stronger than any power." The tension in the room was suffocating. Every heartbeat seemed to echo like a drum. Then Vanessa did something I didn't expect. She sat down. Calm. Controlled. "I can see your determination," she said quietly. "I can see why she loves you. Perhaps I underestimated you." I blinked. "Underestimated me?" "Yes," she said, leaning back. "I wanted to test you. To see if you were worthy of raising her. If you could love her without selfishness, without expectation." And you passed. I froze, disbelief washing over me. "Passed? You're saying this was a test?" Vanessa nodded. "A long, complicated one. I could have taken her. I could have claimed her. But I saw the truth. You are the one she calls mommy. You are her anchor, her world. And that matters more than blood, more than claims, more than revenge." Lily's eyes widened. "Mommy, it's okay." I pulled her close, tears streaming. "Yes, baby, it's okay. You're safe. Always." Vanessa stood slowly, her expression unreadable. "Do not mistake this for kindness. I am not here to make friends. But know this, if ever you fail her, I will be watching." And with that, she left. The soft click of her heels echoed down the hallway, then disappeared. I held Lily tightly, feeling the weight of what had just passed. Relief, fear, love, and exhaustion all mingled together. The envelope, the photos, the letters, they had been tests, trials to measure our bond. And somehow, we had survived. Days later, life slowly returned to a fragile normal. Lily laughed again, small and genuine. We went back to school, to the park, to our ordinary little routines. But I knew the world was different now. We had faced a storm, and we had survived. I framed the final photograph, the one that had shown Vanessa watching us, and placed it on my bedside table. Not as a threat, but as a reminder, love and courage can withstand even the darkest shadows. And sometimes, even when the world tries to tear everything apart, the strongest bonds, the ones forged by choice, not blood, can survive anything. Lily climbed onto my lap that night, hugging me tight. I love you, Mommy. I love you too, baby, I whispered. More than anything. And in that moment, I realized we had not just survived the storm. We had become unbreakable. The dress, the gala, the shadows, the secrets, they had tried to define us. But we had defined ourselves. And nothing, not power, not blood, not fear, could ever take that away.